It all starts just behind me as the chosen greyhounds wait in anticipation, listening to the sound of that elusive lure before the lids open and the greyhounds jump out of those boxes and head down that straight for the first time.
Here at the first bend is where the race can be won or lost. Who will find themselves in prime position heading into the back straight, where they will make their mark.
It's here where true champions arise, where stamina and stealth take over and the cheers of the crowd can be heard for miles.
And it's here where one champion will be named, etched in history books forever. Today, one greyhound can pick up $750,000 and become a legend. Welcome to the very first Tab Phoenix.
Look at the Meadows, it's at its very best here tonight as the Melbourne Greyhound Racing Association are set to deliver a show like they've never done it before. Inspired by the Tab Everest and the thoroughbred industry, greyhound racing now has its own slot race and it's called the Tab Phoenix. Hello, I'm Gareth Hall and welcome to a special edition of the Thrill of the Chase as we get ready for the first ever running of the Tab Phoenix. There's already been so many wonderful stories that have unfolded as we continued the build up to this great race now. It's worth $1.1 million and greyhounds from around the country have arrived here to do battle for this slot race worth, as Molly pointed out that introduction, $750,000 to the winner. Let's welcome in the team. Molly Haynes, hello to you.
Hello, Gareth. I think the Phoenix is exactly what greyhound racing needed. Yep. It's an exciting concept. It's brought new people in, and boy, I'm excited for this one.
And it's come a long way in a short amount of time, Georgie. Just last March here on Australian Cup night, they announced the Tab Phoenix. There was a few people that didn't know what to expect, but I think now tonight everybody's relieved from the Meadows to the GRV that the show has finally arrived.
There's going to be some great stories to come out of it, which there already has in the lead up. This is the richest race run in Victoria. 750,000. This track opened in 1999. They haven't seen a race like this. There's been some great greyhounds run here and another little slice of history tonight.
We'll tell you the stories of the Tab Phoenix in the next hour, but before we get stuck into the agenda, let's welcome in Nicholas Quinn from the Tab. Quinny, hello to you. What about the betting for this year's feature?
Look, it's been absolutely spectacular, a bit like this Melbourne weather. We've had some great nights out here at the Meadows, but the weather gods have not been kind. Fortunately, that's not the case tonight. But enough about the weather. The sun will hopefully be shining on the favourite Aston Ruby, currently a $2.40 market leader. Was as short as $2.10 prior to the box draw. Now hits the market at $2.40. Kablin's a fascinating betting scenario here. Was all the rage earlier on in the week, $3.20 into $2.80, but it's got back out to $3.60. There's been money around for Jungle Juice from box number 2 and box number 4, Wow She's Fast, the rising star, just start number 7 and a $10 chance has had support. But Aston Ruby, a luckless but eye-catching performance in the Tab Melbourne Cup, and hopefully the favoured backers can go a couple better tonight.
Good on you, Quinny. Let's get stuck into the agenda on tonight's Thrill of the Chase. And we'll start off with the box draw for the Tab Phoenix last Sunday. Now, this was inspired by the WS Cox Plate box barrier draw for the Gallopers, Georgie. How it worked is that if you were the first dog chosen, you got to choose your own box. And that made it for fascinating viewing.
It did, and the interstate greyhounds dominated, drawing boxes 1, 2, 3. We see Ian Gilders here go straight for box 1 with Billy Creek. Probably the fairy tale story of the race, Gary.
And having a look at the box draw now, Molly, it got interesting towards the back end of the draw because the big guns came out a little later on, and Aston Ruby, he had to make a decision. He had boxes 5, 6, 7 and 8, his trainer Glenn Rounds, and he went with box number 5.
He sure did, and it was the question I was asking George before the show when we did the box draw. At what point do trainers choose the outside rather than going inside? But quickly, how spectacular was that venue? We had beautiful Melbourne in the background. It was brilliant.
The most fascinating part about it all was Troy Little and David Gill. Of course, their dog is Co-Blends, representing the Sports Entertainment Network. Were you surprised that the Melbourne Cup champ and they chose to go box number 8 for him?
No, and it was all based on True Kalinda heading towards the fence. So they just wanted some clear running early. We know Koblenz is a greyhound, Gareth. If he can just get that first 50 metres of free air, we know he just highballs.
You can see who the dogs are representing throughout the slots for the Tab Phoenix. It was fascinating to watch the slot holders get chosen by an independent panel at $75,000 for a slot. There was 14 applicants. We could only choose 8. And I think the surprise to everybody was the support of the jurisdictions from around the country, Molly.
Absolutely, especially New South Wales snagging 2, but how good did they do? I think my favourite slot holder, I suppose their competition being the People's Pup, I think that was my favourite to go through.
And Georgie, did you like the way that it was done?
Well, it was done differently across all slots, so it gave the rank and file a chance, like we see with the likes of Spotted Elk and Vice Grip. So it went from a race where people thought it was only going to be for the elite, but it just opened up, and there's fairy tale stories everywhere you look.
Slot racing delivers so many great stories, and my favourite story heading towards the Tab Phoenix tonight is the story of Ian Gilders. He's only got the one dog in work, and it is Billy Creek, and he won the slot to represent the Greyhound Breeders Owners Trainers Association in New South Wales. He's from Beryl. He didn't even know when he entered the dog that he was racing for a chance to compete in this $1.1 million race, and he just made the nomination time to compete in the heat at Bathurst, Georgie. It is one hell of a story.
How did he emerge? He didn't win. He hadn't won a Metropolitan race, and now he's in the Phoenix. Trialled really well here too, 29.93 guys, and I think connections will get a little bit keener. It was 100 to 1, Gareth, as you mentioned, now all the way into about 30s.
Molly, this was his trial at the Meadows. Explain why these interstate dogs need to trial here before tonight's race.
They're just needing to look around the track. They're needing to experience the new lure, experience the new boxes, experience the bends that go with it. Look, I think the team were very, very happy. But one thing I do need to mention, I think my favourite line out of Ian Gilders coming into Billy Creek in the Phoenix was the fact he said the money wouldn't change his life. He just wants a new tractor. Like, is that not the best line?
It's great.
I hope he wins that. I'll be cheering home Billy, because it would be some story if he could salute in the Tab Phoenix. We'll take our first break here on the Thrill of the Chase. We are live at the Meadows for the running of the Tab Phoenix. On the other side of it, we'll continue to analyse the other runners. And of course, we've got a special feature story on Greyhound Racing New South Wales dog tonight in Jungle Juice.
Welcome to For the Love of the Dog, and I'm here with Jack Smith, and it's a little bit like deja vu for the two of us. We were here a couple of years ago with the People's Dog in Feral Frankie, and now we've got New South Wales People Pup in Jungle Juice. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Molly. I'm not complaining. Every time I'm talking to you, something's going right. So the dogs are going well. So.
Absolutely. Now we're here at the Meadows. Jungle Juice is just trialled here in preparation for the Phoenix. What were your thoughts on his trial?
The trial was okay. It was quite windy. I would have loved a couple more lengths there, but that's the trainer coming out in me. But I trialled a dog before him, and they went as I thought they might have, so I'm happy yet.
Now the Tab Phoenix, it's Victoria's only slot race. It's worth $1.1 million, and you had to work really hard to get Jungle Juice into this field. It was a vote through the Daily Telegraph. Can you tell us about how your team got behind Jungle Juice?
Well, the girls got into the social side of it. Melissa, she's our daughter. Marie and I are not that great on it, but the people voted, so we're very humble.
Now I've got a shirt, Get on the Juice for Juice. Can you tell me why we're getting on the juice?
Because we've said we would shout the bar at the Forbes Inn at Forbes, and if you got into the race. We've always run with that at any rate. That's been his slogan for a while.
Absolutely. He's got some beautiful little jackets we've seen as well with Get on the Juice with Juice. But what about the ownership? Can you talk me through the group of people who own Juice?
Yes, we have 2 owners, and they come with 2 wives and kids, of course. So, and that was a double incentive for us, was that one of the husband's wives' brothers got really sick for the last 12 months, and he recently passed away. Our family said, well, let's get in and have a crack and see what we can do. It won't bring him back, but for Di, if it can be a distraction for a few minutes, that'll be worth it.
It just shows how special greyhounds are. They have that ability to lift people's spirits when times are really tough.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, it won't bring him back, but if we can have a lovely night, and she will, and the dog will run well, we know that. So we're looking forward to it.
Now, Jack, you spend plenty of time on the road. You're from a regional town, Forbes, in New South Wales. A nice 7-hour journey you had today for us. What do you do in the car while you're travelling with your dogs?
Cricket, bit of football if it's on, music, talk back, ring some owners, annoy them, yeah, whatever. I might stop and have a snooze myself.
Now, greyhound racing is a full-time plus job. I've said that a few times, but can you tell me why you continue to get up and do the dogs day in, day out?
No, I just love it. It's just a game that never ends for me. It's fun and we just love the dogs, and of course the better the dog you got, the more fun you have. So we've been lucky, we've had some nice ones, so we just keep going doing it, yeah.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for your time. Drive safe and good luck in the Tab Phoenix with Jungle Juice.
Thank you, Molly, and thank you for wearing the shirt.
He really has become the people's trainer, Jack Smith, because he did train the people's dog in Feral Frankie before, of course, getting Jungle Juice. And Jungle Juice had to be the most popular dog in New South Wales because the way that Greyhound Racing New South Wales chose their dog, they went to the people. They had to vote for the dog that they wanted to represent Greyhound Racing New South Wales, and Jungle Juice got the nod, Molly.
He sure did, and look, you couldn't meet a kinder a couple in Jack and Marie Smith. They are just two people you want to be friends with, and I've really enjoyed, I suppose, getting to know them throughout the journey with Feral and now with Jungle Juice.
Can he win, George? Sorry, Molly.
He can. He's been well back too, and I tell you what, Forbes Pub will be rocking if he does, let me tell you.
And they're watching, aren't they?
They are. They'll all be watching, so a big shout out to the Forbes Pub as Jack's shouting the bar around the Phoenix time.
Yeah, what price can we get quickly for Jungle Juice, Quinny?
$6.50. The third elect at that quote, as you both alluded to, has been popular.
All right, then. Koblenz is the Melbourne Cup champ. He was the last dog chosen in the Tab Phoenix by the Sports Entertainment Network, and he's the second favourite. And George, he's just been a superstar this year, Koblenz. He's the quickest dog out of the boxes. That's what wins him all of these races, and that's what wins him the big races like the Tab Melbourne Cup, and this is him trialling recently.
Yeah, this is his trial at Geelong, and David Gill said he was absolutely wrapped with the way he went. I think he ran around the 25.50 mark, which is very fast. Sets up his races reminiscent of his dad, where he can just absolutely fly the lids, as we've seen in that Melbourne Cup victory.
It's funny, I remember David Gill saying that Uphill Jill was a greyhound who never trialled really well, and he said the same about Koblenz at times too. He wasn't expecting much of a time on the clock, but yeah, it's good, those little insights from David Gill.
He's a competitor, the dog.
He is.
Just explain how quick he is from the boxes, Georgie.
He sets himself really well, and 99 times out of 100 he gets it right, Gareth. And he needed to in that Melbourne Cup, didn't he? He just got the job done with a wide tracker drawn in his inside. He's a professional. He'll lead him on this first corner. Can he hold on?
Yeah. What price is he, Quinny? Is he going to challenge Aston Ruby for favouritism?
Look, if you asked me that question on Wednesday, Gareth, I would have said potentially, because he had been the early firmer, but he's since gone from 280 back out to 360. He was really well back throughout the course of the week when winning the Tab Melbourne Cup, and then was soft on race day. Maybe we're seeing something similar here, but I do anticipate Aston Ruby will start a pronounced favourite.
It's not easy to lead from box number 8, but I think we're all expecting Koblenz to do just that tonight. Okay, Georgie, the one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starting to really like this segment.
Am
We've got a greyhound called Compliance here. It's had the 5 starts for 4 wins. Debuted Molly at Shepparton, very, very impressively running low 25 seconds. I think we've got some footage of his win at the Meadows off box 4. Really good speed there, Gareth. Low 5 seconds to the first mark, 17.80 to the back. Nearly broke 30 seconds on debut. Subsequently has come out and won at Sandown on Thursday night impressively too. He's a son of Black Magic Opal, trained by Karen Pitt. He's going places.
Yeah, and Karen Pitt's a very good trainer, Molly.
She is. She's also a school teacher as well, but big thank you. I think we've got some puppy photos too of Compliance. Big thank you to Karen.
You love these, Mol, don't you?
I do. I think it's the highlight of my week. A big thank you to Karen for sending those through. They were absolutely adorable.
There they are.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Out in the yards with the little white flash. I think that's what it's all about. Seeing him grow up and then get to the track is something really, really rewarding.
They're going to have some fun with that dog,
Yeah.
Gareth, as we said, that early speed you speak about. And I don't know, what's it, 70% of greyhounds that lead on that first corner end up winning. So, yeah, he's got a big future.
The atmosphere is building here at the Meadows as we get set for the first ever running of the Tab Phoenix. We'll take another break here on the thrill of the chase. On the other side of it, we'll analyse the favourite for this year's Phoenix in the country's best dog, Aston Ruby.
The greyhound breed can be found in thousands of homes across our great country. They provide companionship and everyone who meets them loves them. We all know greyhounds are cuddly, affectionate, playful and a funny breed. But do you know what? They're also extraordinary athletes. Let's look at Aston Ruby. Owned and bred by South Australian Ray Border, trained by boutique conditioner Glenn Rounds, and a son of Casey and All and Aston Miley. Most would say he's off to a very lucky start, but his performances have been unrivaled and he has surpassed all expectations. So what makes this greyhound so special?
And Aston Ruby is going to win the shootout.
Labelled the fastest greyhound in the world, Aston Ruby runs 400 metres in 22.21 seconds. Compare this to the fastest human on earth, who runs 43.03 seconds over the same distance. How does he do this? All greyhounds have powerful legs, a deep chest, a flexible spine and a slim build. Yet Aston Ruby is the only greyhound to have broken the 29-second barrier over the 515 metre distance twice at Sandown Park, 3 if you include a trial. When he broke the 515 metre track record at Sandown Park in September, stopping the clock at the 28.79 second mark, his performance was nothing short of spectacular and one of the most complete performances we have ever seen. Most would argue recently retired Tigalong Tonk to be one of the iron dogs of our generation. So how did Aston Ruby beat him to win the 2021 Top Gun at the Meadows? It was not speed. Tigalong Tonk had a top speed of 69.6 kilometres per hour into the first corner, ahead of Aston Ruby's 68. And in the first 200 metres, Tigalong Tonk's average was 56 kilometres, compared to Aston Ruby's 55. However, unlike almost all other greyhounds, Aston Ruby can withstand fatigue, maintaining an average speed higher than that of Tigalong Tonk. He also demonstrated unique rail awareness, which combined with his stamina, gave him the edge to take down the renowned champion. This is just one of Aston Ruby's races that had greyhound fans across the country up on their feet paying attention. There have been countless more with all other greyhounds beyond compare. What sets this legend apart? Ray Border has his theory, saying it's a combination of everything being the right mix, that it rarely happens in greyhounds, and that Aston Ruby was just born with it. The only thing we know for sure is this dog is a superior athlete, a natural born winner, and the sport is better for having him in it.
Thoroughly enjoyed that feature, Molly, on Aston Ruby, and you are right, he's the quickest dog in the country, and if he jumps tonight, it's as simple as this, he wins the Tab Phoenix.
Absolutely. This is a greyhound who we could see win $3 million next year, and I also think he's a Hall of Famer. This is a greyhound like no other.
Georgie, I'll get your comments on Aston Ruby in just a moment, but let's hear from Glenn Rounds. Now, this is going back to last Sunday, and he explains why he chose box number 5 for the Tab Phoenix tonight.
I think we're right in the race. Like, I mean, the Koblenz in 8, that's a different thing to handle if he comes across the front of us. That's ifs and buts, and if any dog can, it's probably Koblenz. But we just need to do what we have to do and make sure we're right. And if he gets his timing right and he takes care of himself, I'm sure he'll handle himself very well.
So box number 5 tonight, and it's interesting when I've been talking to experts in this game, like yourself, Georgie, that Aston Ruby, and Ray Border pointed this out to us as well, the owner-breeder of Aston Ruby, when he draws in the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5 and 7, he doesn't miss the start because he's the first dogs, or the odd numbers are the first dog's box for a race.
Yeah, it gets a little bit more time to settle, and I think that's important for him. How's his preparation been? It's mind-boggling that he's broken 2 track records in the lead up to this. I think Glenn would be rapt at the fact that he's had 3 weeks to prepare.
He also, that was the same lead up he had, or the same preparation ahead of his Tab Top Gun win too. So if that's any indication, we're in for a good one tonight.
I'll be interested to see what price he is now, Nick.
Well, he's $2.40, Gareth. Now, a few experts thought if he'd drawn boxes 1 or 2, he would have jumped close to odds on for the feature. But $2.40 from box number 5. Georgie, do we take the $2.40 if you want to back the favourite, or do you think we'll get better come race time, or potentially goes the other way and well back like we saw last start?
Quinny, I think they might come for Koblenz a little bit again. You mentioned that during the week. He's back out to 360. There's continual support for Jungle Juice as well, so you might get a touch better.
It'll be interesting to see what price we get for Aston Rupees. We get closer to the Tab Phoenix. Don't go anywhere, because George Farrugia and Molly have got a winner for us, because we're about to show our first race live tonight here at the Meadows with the Ballarat to the Meadows feature, of course, which will be race number 2 on the program.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the thrill of the chase. Beautiful pictures there of the Meadows, and the greyhounds are in the parade ring now for our second race, which is the Ballarat to the Meadows final. Let's have a look at these dogs, and we'll start off, Molly, with Super Marley.
Yes, Super Marley is trained by Clint Capuano and his partner Chloe Drew. Look at her wagging tail. She's about to take off here. Look, she loves an inside box though, so that gives her a handy chance tonight.
Yeah, box 2 is 6-speed manual for Craig Traherne. Got a lot of speed, qualified for this race by running second at Ballarat in very, very fast time. Just as a couple quicker on its outside, I think is the worry for it.
And Rio Baskin in box number 3 for Maureen Sullivan. Look, this is a greyhound that I really liked her run behind Aston Flame last start. It is her first start at the Meadows, though, which is a bit of a question mark for me.
Box 4, Aston Flame, Gareth, the sister to Aston Ruby, and Ian Garland already had the first winner tonight. This greyhound's won 15 of 24. She's picket fencing at the moment. Tremendous early speed. Expected to see her in front. Can she hold on?
Box number 5, we have another Aston dog in Aston Profit for Jason Sharp. This greyhound hasn't run unplaced in her last 6 starts. Not raced at the Meadows either, so that's another question mark for me.
Box 6, Hamilton, got a lot of time for this greyhound. I think he's a star. He's won his last 3 guys, and his record here is very good. He's made a group final here. Yeah, box 6 might be a little bit sticky, but he's got enough early speed and class to offset that.
Box number 7 is Spring Driven for Lisa Delbridge. This greyhound doesn't hate an outside draw, but I think this is going to be a little bit hard to cross here at the Meadows.
And in box 8, Eat My Dust. If it was a match race, this greyhound would probably beat every dog in the race. It's just drawn poorly. It's a little bit of a slow beginner. I'm not sure it's going to sit on that first corner.
Look at those pictures. Great close-up shots of these wonderful athletes. They run about, 60 kilometres, Georgie, when they get going?
70.
70.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nicholas Quinn, what's the market doing here?
You're driving, Gareth, very, very fast. Hopefully they're not as erratic, though, and there's been good support here for Hamilton from box number 6. $4.20 into $2.90, the new favourite at that quote. And an each-way move for the 1, Super Marley, who's been $7 into $5.50. Your initial favourite from box number 4, Aston Flame, has been $3.10 out to $3.70 as a result. And just a very early look at the following race, race number 3, the match race, La La Kiwi, $1.85 into $1.55. So some very well-backed runners coming up in races 2 and 3.
Looking forward to that match race, George, but your followers have just jumped on your bandwagon here, because Hamilton's been backed off the map, as Quinny just pointed out.
I was actually surprised he was $4.20, to be honest.
Yep.
I think he's probably at his right price. He's a star, but Aston Flame, can't wait to see her sectionals if she gets out and goes.
Molly, who are you tipping here?
Aston Flame for me. I think she's got the breeding, she's got the talent, and she's got the trainer in Ian Garland.
Love these shots. Some greyhounds like to have a chat to their owner, or the owners or their handlers like to have a chat to their dogs. Others like to just leave them alone before they get boxed. We're nearly ready to go to the for the Ballarat to the Meadows final. Let's head upstairs to the voice of the Meadows, Ronnie Hawksville.
7 as they move up. Hamilton the favourite. Number 6, Hamilton the favourite. 290 fixed. 380 number 4, Aston Flame. 6-speed manual and 2, Aston Flame 4. Hamilton the favourite and 6 and 8 by Dust on the outside. Green light. Set to go. Race 2, 5:25. Hamilton a little bit slow to begin, away faster. Aston Prophet takes the lead, certainly down by about 3 or 4 lengths now. Hamilton worked the second, got a bit of a bump on the first turn and going to the back straight, and Aston Prophet the leader, led by 4 or 5. Hamilton second, 4 or 5 further back, then Super Marley racing third. 3 further back, then 6-speed manual, followed by Rio Baskin. Aston Flame as well back, followed then by Eat My Dust, and back of the tail, Spring Driven coming to the turn now, where it's Aston Prophet the leader. Aston Prophet in front, coming down the outside, Super Marley, and down the centre comes Rio Baskin. Super Marley from Rio Baskin, third to be Hamilton to the inside. They were followed further back then by 6-speed manual, Eat My Dust. Further back in the race there come Aston Flame, Spring Driven, head to the tail of the field, and the time for the race is showing around 30 and 31.
So they've gone 30-31 there, and Super Marley, hear Molly cheering Super Marley as they went past us with about 50 metres to go, Molly. It was a strong victory by Super Marley in the end.
Without a doubt. You shouldn't really have favourites when it comes to the training ranks, but Chloe Drew and Clint Capuano are probably two of the nicest people in the sport, so I'm very happy to see Super Marley come away with the win there.
And George, the favourite, Hamilton, just missed it slightly and then copped a little bit of interference, and then just got a little bit confused what he was going to do as they swung for home.
Yeah, I still thought he was the winner down the back. He looked like he was making good ground, but well done to Super Marley. When she gets a bit of a sniff, she finishes the races off really nicely.
It was that tail. She was flapping it around before, and it certainly
Yep.
got her over the line.
They love to run.
Time for a quick break here on the Thrill of the Chase. When we return, we'll preview the match race. Now, the match race is between the two dogs that were the reserves for the Tab Phoenix, and we'll also analyse the other runners for this year's Tab Phoenix straight after this. Look at Super Marley celebrating her victory with the connections, of course, there, Molly, and Super Marley has become your favourite greyhound now.
Oh, for tonight, absolutely. Why not? We've got Clint Capuano and Callie in the background as well there.
Welcome back to the Thrill of the Chase. Our next guest is the man behind the Tab Phoenix. He's the CEO of the Melbourne Greyhound Association. His name is Ashley Baker, and he joins us now. Welcome to the Thrill of the Chase on such a big night. How are you feeling, mate?
Feeling a bit anxious, Gareth. Thanks for having me on. Crowds are flowing through the gates. That's probably the first thing. And we've got beautiful weather, which we're not always blessed with here out at Broadmeadows. So can't ask for much more than that, and just hope we have a few more thousand rock in through the first couple of races, and big crowd to watch the first ever Phoenix at 8:30.
Yeah. Have you... Go, Georgie.
I was just going to say congratulations for putting this on, Ash. It's been a long time coming. It's a fantastic concept. You've got a horse racing background, and we were talking earlier about Gareth and I knowing some horse racing people that want to get involved in greyhound racing now on the back of races like this. Have you found that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had amazing feedback from even our partners up in New South Wales. Tony Mestroff and his crew at Greyhound Racing New South Wales have been inundated with owners ringing their the peak body up there looking to get into greyhound pups because of races like this and the $1 Million Chase up there. I was listening to radio this morning, and I think I heard Michael Felgate and a couple of others talking on RSN and asking, I think it was Cal Greeno or someone, for a pup to race. So that's exactly why we introduced a race like this, because we know it's a great sport and it's an easy sport to get into. Yep. I think we spoke about it on radio yesterday that sometimes the thoroughbreds aren't always an easy sport to get into from a cost point of view, and greyhounds is affordable, and you can have a lot of fun, and that's probably the best thing about this initiative, is it's bringing new people into the sport.
Ash, like you mentioned, you had a little bit of a background with the horses. What has surprised you about being involved in the greyhounds and running probably one of our best clubs in Victoria?
I'm glad you said the best club in Victoria. We might go with Australia, Molly, but the biggest thing that surprised me is how close the industry is, right from the bottom through to the administrators and the clubs and people like myself. Like today, I was stocking bar fridges up in my shorts and runners, and and now I'm dressed up in my suit getting ready to do a presentation for $1 million race. And that sort of image goes all the way through the industry. It's sort of from top to bottom, and that's probably the one thing that's grasped me the most since joining the thoroughbred industry.
Ash, we touched on this at the start of the show, but the slot holders. You had 14 applicants to get into the Tab Phoenix. It was $75,000 a slot. An independent panel led by the former Victorian Premier, Dr. Dennis Natvine, was the chair of that independent panel to choose the slot holders. What surprised me was the interest from the other jurisdictions around the country. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect, Gareth. First of all, I wanted to just make sure I had 8 slots and 8 applicants so that I had a race. And thankfully, I had some good trainers like Jason Thompson and other big trainers here in Victoria that were happy to put their hand in their pocket if we needed help. But it became apparent pretty quickly that that wasn't going to be the case. I wasn't sure about the jurisdictions, to be honest, but I'm so thankful that they have been involved because some of the best stories out of the race have come through what they've done. So that's been a great find throughout the process. What it looks like next year, I've got no idea. I mean, we had 6 unsuccessful applicants. Some of them were individuals, some of them were syndicates, and we'll all learn a lot from this first year. So next year, I'm not sure what the race will look like, but in terms of this year, it's been fantastic.
So the people watching right now, they can put in an application for next year's Tab Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Yep.
This is not like any other race. We run plenty of other group races. This is about getting a race assembled together that can tell 8 stories that promote our sport.
Ash, what stood out during that application process? What stood out to you as something that was really important to be a part of that marketing plan or that process?
So that was the biggest part, Molly, was getting sure people would actually market our race for us and our sport because, like I said, we've got the Australian Cup, we've got the Top Gun, we've got all those other races. This was about how can they bring our sport into a new market, and that's what they did so successfully.
Ash, congratulations. The night has finally arrived. We wish your club the best of luck and can't wait to see what unfolds tonight with the Tab Phoenix.
Thanks, Gareth, and thanks for having me on.
And as Ash Baker was just explaining, there's so many great stories in this year's Tab Phoenix, and one of those, of course, is Graham Hall with his greyhound Spotted Elk representing Racing Queensland. On Sunday at the box draw, we interviewed him after he drew box number 3 for Spotted Elk. And Georgie and Molly, he was emotional. This meant a lot to him. There's Graham Hall on your screen. He's been in the game for more than 40 years. He's a former policeman. He's got about 6 dogs in work. But he's living his dream tonight to compete in a race worth $1.1 million.
And we've discussed the money side of it, but it's not just that, is it? I mean, they want to be part of something special in greyhound racing, and he was emotional, and rightly so. I mean, sometimes you work so hard in this industry behind the scenes, and to get a greyhound running on a night like this would be unbelievable.
And George, as a breeder yourself, can you imagine, people are striving for the Melbourne Cups, for the Australian Cup, but the Phoenix is now a race that people are going to strive for, and we saw that emotion in Graham, and I think that's what breeders around Australia are going to feel.
Absolutely, and instantaneously, right? It's only year one, and I think Ash touched on that, and it's only going to grow and grow. We might even get a stayers race one day. So I know Gareth is a big push for that, and look, greyhound racing is in a very, very good spot at the moment.
Adam Smithson's not even 30 yet, and he gets a chance to win a Tab Phoenix with his greyhound Vice Grip. And Molly, you're a proud West Aussie. They've backed this greyhound heavily as well in the last 12 hours. Can he win in your eyes?
I think it's going to be hard for him to win, but a sucker for the stories, it'd be hard for me not to be cheering along for him. We can see Adam's family here and Adam himself on the Cannington track. Look, like you said, I am a proud West Australian, so I will be cheering for that section, but he's an electrician by trade, and now he's a greyhound trainer by day.
Peter O'Neill, the voice of WA greyhound racing, he can sell a WA dog, and he's been doing that all week, saying that this greyhound has run as quick as Tommy Shelby at Cannington. Are they dreaming that they can defeat our greyhounds like an Aston Ruby and a Koblenz tonight with Vice Grip, George?
The box draw hasn't played in his favour, absolutely. But to Peter's point, this greyhound's been running around the 29.50 mark at Cannington consistently, and I think that's a credit to Adam. He's kept this greyhound going very, very well.
This is a dog who's also been on the Meadows circuit a few times. I think mainly over 600. I think he had a couple of wins here, so he knows the track, and I think that's an added advantage for interstaters.
Spotted Elk and also Vice Grip, Nicholas Quinn. The punters coming for those 2 greyhounds?
Look, with any feature race, you're always going to get sentimental support and some runners potentially backed at the longer odds. So they have had some degree of interest, but they would be, I think, what we would describe as the bookies' hopes in the race. Some of the runners at the longer odds that haven't attracted nearly as much support as some of those more pointy end of the betting runners.
True Kalinda's a fascinating runner. Jason Thompson, he's a big-time trainer. He's proven that over the years, and he's in red-hot form at the moment with Aussie Secret, of course, winning a Group 1 on Thursday night in the Hobart 1000. But, Georgie, this is how Jason Thompson decided to choose his greyhound to represent the tab.
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching Typhoon Sammy lead here, but True Kalinda running him down eventually. Look, I think the key to this trial, Gareth, was she began very, very nicely. She matched motors early. We all know her strength, and she just powered to the line. Another great story with the Tyler family.
Can you imagine being Jason Thompson? You've got Thompson, I should say. You've got 2 sets of owners, 2 opportunities to race. Imagine, I think the match race was the fairest way to go about this for Team Thompson.
He's always been a big fan of True Kalinda. He thinks that she could have gone closer winning a Tab Melbourne Cup this year if she drew nicely. And I've got no doubt she's probably nearly the second favourite if she had drawn, say, an inside draw for tonight's Tab Phoenix. But I think Jason Thompson's done extremely well representing the Tab Nicholas Quinn. And I know you're a big fan of Jason Thompson. Can you win? Of course, you're representing the Tab tonight. Can you guys win with True Kalinda?
Well, first and foremost, the Thompson team have just been so good to deal with. Every request has been accommodated by, and they're so good at promoting the sport. So win, lose or draw, they're already a winner in my book. Can True Kalinda win? I would say an each-way chance. For mine, I've probably got True Kalinda about 3rd or 4th in the pecking order, but it would be great to see. And good luck to the 5 Tab competition winners who get a chance at some magnificent riches should the Tab slot be successful, just like it was with Mugatu at the All-Star Mile.
Now, the Tab Phoenix had 2 reserves, so if any of the dogs competing in the Tab Phoenix didn't quite get to the race tonight, Lala Kiwi and also Music Event would have stepped in for those dogs. But thankfully for all the slot holders, the 8 dogs that were chosen to represent their slots will be going around, which means we've got a match race between the 2 reserves in Lala Kiwi and also Music Event. And that match race is coming up next here on The Thrill of the Chase. It's time for the match race, the Phoenix match race between Lala Kiwi and also Music Event. Looking forward to this contest, Molly. Which team are you in?
Look, I think for me it would have to be Team Daly. We can see Lala Kiwi in the picture there. She was absolutely enormous to run second behind Koblenz in the Melbourne Cup. She got knocked around, but she picked herself up and she was just simply brilliant. I think that without other greyhounds to compete with, she's going to be too good.
She won for fun here last week as well. She's racing so well at the moment. And I've got a lot of time for Music Event, but I just think Lala Kiwi's going to find the top and be very, very hard to run down, Gareth. And I think they've had a bit of a play on her on the tab as well.
Yeah, she's been heavily supported since markets opened for this match race. Music Event, trained by Michael Carter, just outside of Shepparton at Kyalla. He is a very quick greyhound. In fact, his personal best time over this trip is better than Lala Kiwi. And we'll get no interference, hopefully, anyway, in a match race, Georgie. What does he need to do to defeat Lala Kiwi?
He's got to try to beat her out, I think, which on times suggests that he's going to find that tough. She's not a weak greyhound, as we've seen in that heat of the Melbourne Cup. Her run-home time was outstanding. I just think she's going so well at the moment. She's going to be hard to knock off.
And just like the mares in the thoroughbred industry and also in the standardbred industry, when they hit form, they're hard to beat. And it's like the female greyhounds as well. We saw Quara Bale do that 3 or 4 months ago, where she just was turning up and winning all the big races and even defeating the boys. And Lala Kiwi, even Glenn Rounds mentioned last week at the box draw that she did get a start in the Tab Phoenix. He'd probably be scared about her most of all in a Tab Phoenix.
I think the fact that she just kept going despite all the interference she received in that Melbourne Cup a couple of starts ago, she just continued to push on. We saw that fabulous curly tail throughout the field. I think people can't underestimate good form, and she's got that.
The other thing, Gareth, is that they've had a star this year in Quara Bale. I think Lala Kiwi's almost gone past her now. She's just been unbelievable. Her last 6 to 8 weeks of racing has been incredible. This would top it off. $12,500 to the winner, guys. I mean, it's nothing to be sneezed at. And look, they're going to keep her going. She'll have a fantastic Australian Cup carnival.
And one of my favourite nights on the greyhound racing calendar is Speed Start night, where we get to see match races throughout the evening in all 3 distant ranges. And I think it's nearly the future for greyhound racing that we'll see more nights like that, because even I think the younger generation enjoy just betting on the 2 dogs 50-50, and they can work out which dog they think will be the quickest, Molly, and there'll be no interference as well. Bad luck sort of gets taken out of the calculations in match races.
It sure does. It is pure speed when it comes to match racing, and I think that's what's so impressive. It's simple, it's attractive, and I think I certainly agree with you, Gareth. It's the way of the future.
We're all with Lala Kiwi here from box number 1.
Yeah, I think so. She's just in red hot form, as you mentioned. He's just going to find it hard to get around her, I'd say.
Absolutely.
He's a pretty popular man tonight, Cal Greeno. He'll be joining Nicholas Quinn. Of course, he trains well. She's fast straight after this match race. So let's get upstairs. Ronnie Hawkswell, he's a legend of the game. He's been calling for more than 4 decades, Ronnie Hawkswell.
Star.
And this is his first Tab Phoenix, of course. And let's head upstairs to Ronnie Hawkswell for the Phoenix match race tonight.
Right, thanks Andrew. The boxes now for first of our big features tonight, the Tab Phoenix match race. It's $1.65 Lalo Kiwi and $2.25 music event. Lalo Kiwi's earned $295,000 in prize money. Music event, $200,000.
Okay, one line, thank you. One and
So they're under starters orders now. The starting signals there for the Tab Phoenix match race. Lalo Kiwi in box 1. Music event in box number 3. 5:25 the journey. $165 Lala Kiwi, $2.25 music event. Green light, here we go. Match race coming up. Set. Kiwi away brilliantly on the inside, led by a length and a half to music event at the post the first time in 5:09. Going to the back straight and Lala Kiwi on top, led by a length and a half to music event as they swing down the back straight. Lala Kiwi the inside and music event. Down the back they go. It's Lala Kiwi down on the inside, pressured by music event. There's about 3/4 of a length to a length in it. Coming up to the turn. Lala Kiwi on the inside. Music event moving up on the outside to tackle. Lala Kiwi the leader. Music event coming in on the outside and music event. Music Event has won the Tab match race here and beaten Lala Kiwi in a time of 29.71. A fantastic race. It was on from go to woe.
That was a terrific race, Georgie. A surprise there, because we all thought that Music Event had to lead Lala Kiwi, but that wasn't the case.
And you asked me mid-race, do you think she can hold on? And I thought she was going to do enough to do that, but Music Event kept digging in. And then when you look at the clock, Gareth, you understand why. 29.71. That's his new PB.
And that is exciting. Match races like that, Molly.
Absolutely. I think just being proven wrong too. George and I were both like, nah, she's got it. It'll be a matter of time and margins. But he pushed on. He proved us wrong. And I'm actually happy.
Yeah, it was a big effort. Michael Carter would be over the moon to win a race like this on such a big night. He does a wonderful job with his team just outside of Shepparton.
He's a very, very fast dog. He always has been. He hasn't been able to crack it for a really big race, but he showed his class here running down the Melbourne Cup runner-up.
So what time did he go? 29.70. What time will they go on a Tab Phoenix?
Oh, well, if Aston Ruby jumps to the front of Koblenz around that time, that's a Phoenix winning time in a sense. That's a terrific run. But, well done to Mick Carter. He's got this greyhound going well. It's not easy to defeat Lala Kiwi in her form.
One of the stories of the Tab Phoenix as well, she's fast bush. She's come quickly onto the scene in the sport of greyhound racing. It was only a couple of months ago she was winning her maiden at her first race start there at Sandown, when she became the quickest ever dog to perform at Sandown, having their first start. And Cal Greeno, he does a wonderful job with his dogs, along with his wife Jackie Greeno. And Cal is catching up with Nicholas Quinn to talk about his dog, Well She's Fast, in this year's Tab Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Gareth. And I tell you what, if Wow She's Fast is as cool, calm and collected as her trainer, Cal Greeno, she'll go mighty close tonight. For such a magnificent night, you look pretty relaxed.
Yeah, pretty relaxed, Nick. We've been doing this for a long time.
Now, tell us about Wow She's Fast. She burst onto the scene winning her first 4 starts, most of them by big margins. She's just the up-and-coming star of the sport.
Yeah, look, her first 4 starts were terrific, and then she got beaten the next 2, so hopefully she'll learn a fair bit from that situation and goes a little bit better now.
Now, you could have gone down 2 paths. You decided to roll the dice and have a crack on the big stage. Was there any reluctance to step up so quickly with her?
Yeah, a little bit. Taking on the best dogs in the country is a big deal, so we're a little bit concerned, but she's takes everything in her stride, and I think she'll handle it.
Now, she's had some recent trials. How is she going into the race?
Going terrific. Broke the back split record at Sandown on Sunday in a post-to-post and ran a very good box-to-box here the week before. So very happy how she's coming in.
Now, win, lose or draw tonight, she's got such a bright future. For those wanting to follow her going forward, where do we expect to see her next?
Look, we'll just try and gain her a bit of experience to start with and then pick off any group races we can and have a go at those.
Now, there's so many great races at the moment. We have the Tab Phoenix tonight and then all eyes go to the Sale Cup. We've got the heats tomorrow and Zach's Entity. Great to see Zach's back on the track. Box number 6 tomorrow. How do we expect him to go first up?
Yeah, look, Zach's a bit of an enigma. So his trials have been enormous. He trialled 29.53 here, which is pretty quick. And then he went to Sale last Saturday and ran 100th off the record. The dog is a little bit of an enigma coming past dogs, so he's done it once, hopefully he never does it again. So he's right going in, just whether he keeps his head straight.
Well, hopefully he's on his best behaviour tomorrow. And Cal, hopefully you are on your best behaviour after the Tab Phoenix tonight. So good to have you as one of the trainers with the first running of the race.
Thanks very much, Nick.
Back to you, Gareth.
He's one of the good guys. Thanks for that, Nick. He's one of the good guys of the sport, Georgie Calgrino. It would be some stories we mentioned before if Welshie's Fast can defeat some of the best dogs in the land and win the Tab Phoenix. But in your eyes, can she do it? And if she can do it, what needs to go her way?
She's going to need to ping like she did early in her career. Look, it's a really steep rising class for her. It would be a surprise for me if she did win. The ability is definitely there. I think there's a group race in her, Molly, but I'm not sure it's tonight.
It could even be the Phoenix next year,
Yep.
I think might be her go. The experience will suit her. She's a little star. I think it would have been a big decision for Kel to continue and push on through the Phoenix with her because she's so young, but he's got her primed and ready to go.
And there's still plenty happening in greyhound racing, Georgie. We're back tomorrow for Thrill of the Chase at 10 a.m. on 7-2. Looking forward to that. We'll relive the Tab Phoenix and of course we'll preview the Sale Cup, which is a great race at this time of the year over the 600 metres.
It's a great race, the final on Boxing Day, and there's 4 unbelievable heats there tomorrow, so we'll catch up on that, and as you said, we'll recap on the Phoenix.
And I'm excited still, Molly, because it's not far away now. We'll be back on Channel 7, of course, at 8:29 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We'll be showing you the Tab Phoenix live tonight. It's about a 3 to 4 minute coverage, so looking forward to that. And it's going to be some race. And there's so many great stories that have unfolded during this Phoenix, and I just can't wait for it, mate.
I think it's the stories.
Yeah.
That's the reason we're here. It's history making, but we get to be a part of the first one, and I
Yeah.
think that's what gets me really excited.
What's your tip quickly, Molly?
Aston Ruby for me.
Aston Ruby. Georgie, who are you tipping?
Yeah, we haven't tipped well today, so we don't want to put the mocker on him, but Aston Ruby, I think he's the best greyhound in the race. If he just clears them early, Gareth, he'll be very hard to beat.
And looking at the market, Aston Ruby still the solid favourite. He's around that $2.40 quote there with the Tab. I expect him nearly to start at that price. Maybe some late money for Co-Blends. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think so. And as we said, Jungle Juice now into $5.50, so the money keeps tumbling in for Jungle Juice. And Forbes Pub, as we said, will be rocking right now.
Maybe all the money's coming from Forbes.
I think so.
They will be cheering. True Kalinda, $13. Co-Blends has had some backing late. Thanks for your company on the Thrill of the Chase for this special edition. We've been live here at the Meadows as we get set for Greyhound Racing's first ever slot race, the Tab Phoenix. Looking forward to hopefully you joining us then at around 8:29.